Ask God, God, whatever you want me to get tonight, God, just let it manifest itself right now. I can't go back home the same way. I've been crying, I've been going through, I've been holding on to my past. God, whatever you want me to get tonight, God, I need you to release it in this atmosphere right now. And if that's you, come on, give God a hand clap of praise. Y'all can have a seat. The brother said, let go and let God. And what God told me to talk about today was after this. Come on, look at your neighbor and say, after this. Well, what is this? This is that thing that you're going through right now. Whatever situation you're faced with right now, whatever you're going through, whatever trial, whatever tribulation, that is what you're going through right now. That's your this. And what you got to do with what you're going through is you got to let it go. See, a lot of times what we do is we try to fix things on our own. And we continue to mess up not only our life, but the people that's connected to our life. And so what begins to happen and transpire is that we would find ourselves backing up into a world of sin, trying to fix something that all we had to do was really just let go and let God have. See, God gave me after this morning. I went to a breakfast this morning, and a man that used to play NFL football, he was talking about how bad he felt when he used to miss plays in the game. He played free safety. He talked about how when he played, Jerry Rice would run past him and score touchdowns, and what would happen to him is he would feel so bad. Because now he's allowed somebody to score that should have never came in to that space where he was in, because that was designed for him to cover. What are you trying to say, Minister Freddie? I'm trying to say is some of you have been feeling so bad because you keep letting people and letting things score in your life that ain't got no business. And so what you keep doing is you find yourself over and over again feeling bad about the decisions that you made. I know some babies is in here, but I'm going to be real for just a few minutes. That you got to stop letting that joker come to your house all times of night. If he ain't your husband, he ain't got no business being there. If she ain't your wife, man, stop calling her. Stop texting her. Because what the devil is doing is he's planting things in your life. He's planting things in your mind that can destroy everything that God has already predestined and promised for you to have. Yeah, I'm still talking about after this. Some of you got some bills that you're trying to pay. You got some things that you're faced with. You got some sicknesses. And all you keep thinking about is, I'm not going to make it through it. I'm reminded of a man that just spent 6 years of his life in prison. His wife prayed about it, and she prayed night and day. But God took her home days before he came home. But what happened was an after this. After she prayed about it, after she talked to God about it, even though she was going to glory, an after this took place. And what that after this was, he got out of jail. Some of you are faced with some trials right now. And if I can, I'll use this for an analogy. You're sitting on the side of a highway as if you're broken down in your car. You've already called for roadside assistance. You've already called your insurance company or AAA or whoever it is, and they said that they're on the way. But what happens is, in the process of waiting for them to come to your rescue, your mind starts wondering, where in the world is this help that you promised me? Here it is, I've been sitting here for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour. Where is the help that you promised me? That's the same thing that some of you did with God. You prayed about it. He said he was going to come. And now you're in a place, you've been sitting there for 3 days. You've been sitting there for 3 years. Some of you have been sitting there for 30 years asking God, when you going to situation around in my life. But I stop by to just tell you this one thing. If God has made you a promise, you ain't got to worry about the time frame, baby. You ain't got to worry about when it's going to come. Because my God is a God that will never lie. My God is a promise keeper. And he has kept his promise from the day I was born to the day I'm going to die. So what you got to realize is if God said it, that's good enough for me. See, some of you gave out of gas on that road. And you called for the assistance and you were almost to the next exit. You were almost to your destiny. And something happened that sidetracked you and turned you all the way around. Something came in your life and said, I want you to stop right here. I want you to keep messing with me. I want you to keep sleeping with me. I want you to keep drinking. I want you to keep smoking. Something happened in your life that made you give out of gas just before your destiny. Now you're sitting in here wondering, will my assistance come and take me to my destiny? In the Bible, there was a man by the name of David. David slept with a married man's wife by the name of Bathsheba. And y'all know the story, but I want to remind you one thing who David was. He still, even after his mistake, was a man after God's own heart. What am I telling you right now? I'm telling you that even though you made a mistake, even though you hurt somebody, even though somebody hurt you, even though you lied, even though you messed up, even though you feel unworthy, there's still an after this in your life. Don't give up right here. Because God's got something greater for you. God's promises are yea and amen. Some of you have been playing the lottery thinking that your bills were going to get paid. And you keep finding yourself over and over again trying to figure out how the light bill is going to be paid. But you just spent $20 on a lottery ticket. Because you can't wait for the after this. Some of you have been sleeping with every Tom, Dick, and Harry because God made you a promise that you were going to get a husband, but it ain't moving fast enough. Some of you just keep going through the same cycles over and over again because you can't wait for your after this. But tonight I declare over every person's life in here that your after this will come, but you gotta wait on it. Look at your neighbor and tell him you gotta wait on it. Come on, tell him like you mean it. You gotta wait on it. I know it get rough sometimes, but you gotta wait on it. I know it get tough. I know you got to cry. I know you feel like giving up, but you just gotta wait on it. There's a promise over your life. Everybody do this. It's a promise over your life. It's a promise. That promise looks like a halo. Because God got angels watching all over you all the time. And even when in the midst of you feel like giving up, even in the midst of you feel like throwing in the towel, there is still something coming after this. And let me be real with some of you. Even after this, you still gonna go through something else. I didn't come here to prophesy and prophet lie. I came to tell you the truth. The truth of the matter is that you're gonna go through some hell in this life. I'm reminded of what my brother, my friend, lifelong friend Sean said a little while ago. He had to spend some years in prison for him to get to his after this. And now that he's reached his after this, he's traveling all over the country doing an assignment for God because he waited for his after this. Look at Vanessa. She went through all types of hell from the time she was a child to the time that she was an adult. But now look at her life now. See, she's walking in her after this. See, some of you are walking in your right now and thinking it's always going to be your now. But baby, it ain't always going to be your now. You got to look to God and say, God, I thank you for my after this. Because I know